7:13 here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox, and good morning to you if you're just now tuning in. I'm Gina Francine. We do have a news alert as it relates to the latest with U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Transitioning your screen to the latest video as we are looking ahead to Friday. The Associated Press reports U.S. President Donald Trump repeatedly said during his successful campaign for a second term that he could end the war in Ukraine in, quote, 24 hours. But since his January 20th inauguration, the road to a peace deal has been fraught with changing dynamics among Trump, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, and Russian President Vladimir Putin. A summit between President Donald Trump and Putin is set for Friday in Alaska. It could now be a pivotal moment for the 3.5-year-old war. President Donald Trump's rhetoric toward both Zelenskyy and Putin has evolved this year. At the start of his second term, Trump was a certain way towards Putin, for whom he has long shown admiration. But as Putin remained objective and rejected an unconditional truce proposed by President Trump, the Republican leader has expressed increasing exasperation with the Russian leader, criticizing him for his, quote, unbudging stance on U.S.-led peace efforts and for prolonging the war. Until recently, President Trump repeatedly said Russia seemed more willing than Ukraine to get a deal done. President Trump appears to have softened toward Zelenskyy after a February confrontation in the Oval Office. And in a reversal, he promised at some point to provide Ukraine with badly needed Patriot air defense missiles. This under a deal that would see NATO allies in Europe deliver them from their stock to be replaced by future U.S. supplies. And speaking of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, I do want to share the very latest from him, courtesy of X. Take a look at your screen. Zelenskyy put out, quote, over the past few days, there have been more than 30 conversations and consultations with partners. Different parts of the world, different perspectives, but shared positions. This war must be ended. Pressure must be exerted on Russia for the sake of a just peace. Ukraine's and our partners' experience must be used to prevent deception by Russia. He goes on to say, quote, at present, there is no sign that the Russians are preparing to end the war. Our coordinated efforts and joint actions of Ukraine, the United States, Europe, and all countries that seek peace can definitely compel Russia to make peace. He concludes by saying, quote, I thank everyone who is helping, end quote. And as we are following this, I do want to share with you, as he speaks of partners in Europe, at this hour, we do have a live look out in Berlin, Germany. You're taking a live exterior from the German chancellery, where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is expected to arrive this Wednesday for a virtual meeting ahead of the Trump-Putin summit later this week. Again, that summit expected to take place in Alaska. We'll keep a close eye on all things as it relates to the Russia-Ukraine conflict here on Live Now from Fox.